Welcome back to 1.2 Brain Cells Podcast. Hola, hola, I'm Nati.
Money.
Yes, welcome back. Welcome to your first episode with just the two besties of the group, two lovers, the two um
Mm-hmm.
mm, how platonic wives? We can say platonic wives. Yeah. Yeah.
We married?
Honest, well, we're fiancés, if you may. We're not engaged
You
either, but
proposed to me?
did you propose to me?
You're the one saying we fiancés.
You're right. You're right. No, no, no. The platonic soul. Well, no, soulmates doesn't have to be sexual. But anyway,
Correct.
love of my life, love of her life. Yeah. Welcome to this first episode of just us two.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, baby girl? What's your weekly catch up?
Um, Week has been good for the most part. Mama, who recently got married, celebrated it yesterday with her family
Cute.
in Argentina. Very cute. She made her own cake and she decorated it. It was all very cute. She had fun. She had a good time. So happy for her.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, the newlyweds. Love that
Yeah,
for
the
her.
newlyweds. Yes.
That's so That's so cute. I was gonna say that's cute. That's cute. Do they? So we just went through our time change, at least on the day of recording. Does
Right. I had no
Argentina?
clue.
Yeah. No, you're good. I
I
was
was
just for
not.
the
I've not been
listeners.
watching these clocks on me.
Nah, you're good. I'm the same. I was gonna say, does Argentina do anything similar like that or no?
They do have a daylight savings. Mom mentioned today it's like in October. When I was like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't even know we had a time change in America." She's like, "Oh yeah, ours is in October." And so like right now, what normally was has been a 2 hour difference is now a 1 hour difference between South America and Argentina. And then later in October when they do theirs, it's gonna go back to 2 hours.
Nice. And I'm curious,
Hmm.
because I know we have another time change. Isn't
Yeah.
ours also in October? Hold on, I'm gonna Google this as we speak. Uh,
Word. Because
time
I
change.
know Argentina has its own. And so I'm like constantly, that's why I constantly have to double check the time whenever I'm like calling Ma to not make sure I'm like interrupting her
Mm.
hours. Because we have our change and then they have their change and then we change and then it's, can we just scratch the whole thing now that we mention it?
Yeah,
Because why are
honestly,
we doing this? Why do we go forward once, go a back? Like it's we don't actually care that much, do we? Like, is something like is there actually something that's like uber dependent on getting the time actually right?
so first to answer my original question, which is when is ours? Ours is in
Yes.
November, the 1st of November, the
Mm.
first Sunday in November. So it's
Mm.
similar or close to date as Argentina. And then uh as for why we do daylight savings time, I think it has to do supposedly. Oh, bruh, capitalism. From what I'm reading, it says, uh,
Oh.
theoretically, it saves energy and encourages commerce.
I'll deck hands because I no. I
Very
was
cool.
just talking straight up out of my ass because Argentina does not have daylight savings, but then Mama
Oh,
says
nice!
she
You were making
does.
shit up. I love that. Love that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was quoting my mama, and my mama's always right. So
You right. You right.
exactly.
Um,
But she probably also just had it confused for then America's twofer.
di que supuestamente it's to save
They
energy.
haven't done it, bro. They haven't done it since 2009.
Back when there was the Great Depression. Even though we're
Was it
technically more depressed now than we've been ever. And I don't mean
Great
depressed yet as
Depression
in like
2009?
emotional. No, that wasn't the Great
Wait,
Depression. I'm
pause.
sorry.
We
I'm
went to
thinking
the.
about the
Oh, about to
recession.
say, I'm like, baby, we did not go through the Great Depression.
I meant the recession. My bad.
Oh, right, 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 right,
Which
right.
was quite depressing too. So
Yeah, yeah, let's not compare it to the Great Depression though. But like you
no,
said,
no,
we
no.
are veering towards that path, unfortunately, especially with this
Just,
BS administration that could literally suck my left nut and choke on my right one.
bro. Oh my goodness. you know what? Yeah, we'll go on a tangent. It's just us two. I was gonna say, no, I mean, Noel would agree with this though.
Yes.
But I was gonna say in the sense that, and to save time, oh my goodness, the nothing irks me more, and you know why I'm saying this because I we talked about it earlier, but nothing irks me more than when I hear people hit me with the I'm not into politics. Like,
Hmm.
how the fuck in this day and age with this political state of the world, not just our country,
Mhm.
the world, are people gonna be like, I'm not into politics? I completely
Mhm.
understand people that are like, listen, I'm kind of, like reading everything gets me in like not necessarily depressed, but at least makes a lot of
Yeah.
people really anxious, right? And
Yeah.
actually depressed, right? So they're like, I'm aware of everything that's going on, and I'm choosing to sometimes not listen to some of the news. I completely understand that, but that's usually
Mhm.
coming from people that are conscientious of everything that's going on. But the motherfuckers that are sitting here being like, I'm not into politics, or that don't really take into consideration like when they've voted or when they've done anything. It's just been kind of on like whatever whim, not necessarily like looking into stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm like, what a privileged state of mind, man. Oh,
Yeah, and then and I know people, right? They're like, oh, it doesn't matter because like both parties suck. It's all a lie. Politicians will just lie to you.
yeah.
Which I'm like, right, okay. I'm not saying we need to believe every single word that comes out of their mouth.
No.
However, you can't just make a blanket statement like that because it does matter. There very much is a split in the way people think this country should be governed. And
Mhm.
while yes, politicians lie, no, we cannot trust them, there are still radical opinions in that split the two parties. Again, either gun control or abortion, things like that. And so to just say they
Absolutely.
all want the same thing, that's not true.
That isn't, and that's I think Noel actually sent a TikTok in our chat the other day, talking about like, oh, back when politics or political leaders actually had respect for each other, and I think it was
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
was
that
the
was her.
campaign of oh, what was that gentleman's name? Um, the one
Who?
that ran against Obama, I believe, the second time. Hold on, candidates. Anyway, but it was, as I looked that up, um,
Yeah,
it
during that
was,
time, that's when I was like, I'm not a political person because at the end of the day, like
yeah, and he himself, like someone was trying to
it's
say something
it's
crazy.
a not
John
such a huge
McCain,
divide. Now it's a whole
right?
chasm of
Exactly.
divide, bro.
Right. So like the video was John McCain, where I think someone, it was like either an um a political, it wasn't a rally, but it was one of those where like they're talking, and I guess you could call it a rally, but he was talking with
Mhm.
someone that was on his side, and the person was like, oh, I don't really know him, I don't really trust, like they were kind of like trying to shit talk Obama, and he
Mm.
very correctly, like he was like, listen, he's a good man, I know him, he's a family man, at the end of the day we have the same goals, like speaking, like,
Yeah.
okay, obviously they're on opposing sides of certain political stuff, but at the end of the day, treating each other with respect. And
Yes.
that's what really it was, being Democrat versus Republican or any other party. But the way
Yes.
that this buffoon has made literally a comedy
Yeah.
show, a ridicule of, like, that's what gets upset. So that's why when people are like, oh, I just voted for them, I'm like, is that really the
Nah.
lesser of two evils? Like, what evils
Nah.
are we talking about here? Like, yeah, no. No, no, no,
And
nobody
let's
does
also
that.
remember, right? He's not even a politician. So if you want to bring up the argument, you still didn't vote for anything relevant right now because what this
No.
man was nothing but like a fucking greed, corrupt,
Mhm.
corporate piece of BOS.
Yes. 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 Yes.
He
And
always
it just
has been.
sucks.
So I don't understand people. The people are like, oh, I voted because I didn't think he was as bad as Kamala. Don't don't piss me off because
Yeah.
it's been well known how much of a bad person
He is.
this
Yes.
orange buffoon is.
Yeah.
Way before elections, way before his first presidency, it's
Yes.
been known he is not good. Maybe you could give him credits for being a somewhat good businessman. He made money. Okay, congratulations. That's not what America is. This is not a business.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is what it is. But yeah, no, I am given that where how did we get here? There was a reason why we went on this
Daylight
rant.
savings. We went from daylight savings to corporate
I don't
to what was
remember,
it? Oh,
but
the
it is.
recession.
Oh yes, yes, the Great Depression. That's the recession. Yeah, so funny. But yeah, no, no, no.
History
It was
likes to
just.
repeat itself, you know. But you know what? You're right. Let's move on. Let's go to something more
Mhm.
lighthearted, which is part of the
Yes, yes,
reason of
yes.
how
Let
I
me.
came up with today's topic.
Yeah.
Actually, pause all of that because I'm so sorry, my love. Your weekly catch up.
Oh no, you're fine. My weekly catch up is pretty chill. It's basically just, at the time that we're at, I will be debuting our team will be debuting our choreography soon, which we're very
Yes,
excited about.
yes.
I've been dancing for so many hours between practice, between salsa class and everything. Like I feel like each week I'm finding a new level of the amount of
Mhm.
dance I'm doing. But I'm loving it. You know
I'm
me,
about
I
to
love
say
it.
you love your little match kid.
Yes, 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 yes. It's been great. It's been great. I like what was it on Saturday? I legit danced for like 5 to 6 hours. It was like from 1 p.m. till 6:30. Because I went to an
Whoa.
event. Yeah, I went to an event that started like around 1, that my director was going to be performing at. So she had been like, oh, who can come out for support? And I'm like, you know what, poor Kano. So then I went, I danced, and then I went to my class that was like from 4 to 6, 6:30 ish, and
Okay.
4:30 to 6:30. And yeah, and then the next day I legit I had normal dance class or normal dance practice for the team, but in the salsa class, because we've been learning a lot of things that are difficult, a group of people have been getting together. Like we'll rent out a studio and we'll practice. And
Mm.
well, I went because learning, And so anyway, I went to
Right,
class,
right.
right, right, right. And I legit I got there like at 4, and from there I went straight to dance practice. I legit danced from 4 to 9. So that's 5 hours again.
Girl,
Um,
how your footsie's not tired?
Girl, my thoughtsies. And then the bad thing is that now with dance practice, because we have debut coming up, we have to wear our heels the majority of the time.
Oh,
Versus other times we can like switch off on. Ooh, damn tootsies. I was laying in bed ready to fall asleep, or not fall asleep, but like I was trying to fall asleep, and they were still hurting. I was like, well, it is what it is.
you gotta put your feet up against the wall.
Yes, I didn't do it, but I will do that tomorrow. Tomorrow after dance practice, I shall do that.
Or
But
do
yeah,
it
no,
today at the recording, you know?
you know what? You're right. I can, and then
Yeah,
when I
I
know
don't
if
know
I
why wait to make it more painful. You could just do it now to rest them up.
do right, do right. You stating
There
facts.
you
But
go.
besides that,
There you
y'all know,
go.
dance, whoop de doo,
Per usual.
dance.
Per usual.
Are
But you
you? Yeah.
have your debut coming up, so that is exciting.
Yep.
Um, best of luck to you on that one, my love.
Thank you, thank you. And yes, now carrying on to lighter and cute, well, not cuter, but it is kind of cute. Lighter topics. What is a topic you chose for
Yes,
us?
yes. It was both me trying to, keep a positive mindset, so thinking,
Yeah.
fun things, and then when I think fun things, questions just pop up. And so the question, I think I was like watching a video of like Scottish myths and like fays and
Mm-hmm.
fairies and things, and then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, like I know we mentioned it in passing about fays and things, and I'm like, I wonder
Mm-hmm.
how much of that the Nati believes in, and so now I have compiled of things to ask.
Yeah. I'm game. I'm
And
game.
then
So
from
just
there, yeah, it
uh-huh.
branches out, and then you'll see as we discuss.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'll go off right like onto, I don't want to say mystical things, but anything that is what would be considered non-human and non-normal animal. I believe in the sense of like I won't go and sit there and be like, "Oh, it's all make believe." No, I don't think it's all
Okay.
make believe. I
Fair.
genuinely think that either one, the same way that I believe in ghosts and shit,
Uh,
um and like for example the Appalachian creatures, right? um
right.
I can believe that either yes, we do live in a world where other beings do exist, as well as maybe they don't exist now, but at a certain point
Mhm.
in time in history, they have, you know?
Okay.
And I
Interesting
also
take.
think,
I have.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
I
No, that's
have,
it.
similar opinions as to you. Because my whole thing, right, is if you cannot prove, I know it doesn't make sense, but if you cannot prove that they're not real, right, then you can't prove. What was I saying? I lost my thought mid. Well, you can't
You
prove to
can't
me they
prove,
didn't have. There we go. You cannot prove that they aren't real, right?
right,
We cannot prove
right,
that they are real, but we also can't prove to me that they aren't real. And so
exactly.
that's where in that realm of deniability, I my imagination exists for the most part. And in general, just to keep life fun and whimsical, I do believe in the slight touch of magic.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna say no.
absolutely.
There are miracles happening all around us. Some things are inexplicable, unexplainable. And so
Yeah,
I ain't gonna be like that's. I'm not gonna say everything is just boring old science because sometimes science can't even give you an answer.
exactly. And I think it I also I know that my belief comes from the fact that like I come from a family that believes in a lot of sub supernatural things
Hmm.
in general in life. That's just always how our family has been. So I do know
Hmm.
that's why my belief comes from that, because like it's the same
Hmm.
way like when people are like, do you believe in aliens? I'm like, bro, how can we not? Like, you're really gonna sit here
Word.
and tell me
See
that
that alien specifically, I gotta say they're real. In the whole vastness that is space and the
yep,
universe, we dumbass humans, right? That are still so backward minded to this day.
our bitch asses,
We're the
yeah.
great civilization that has been birthed in this vast universe. Get the fuck.
Uh-huh.
Let's don't don't put in my biscuits with that shit.
Yeah. I was gonna say the only parts that I sometimes do not like when people like, or when people get into aliens and all that, is that I
Mm,
don't like that our ancient civilizations, such as
yes.
um are like the things that they were able to accomplish, instead of
Yes.
giving credit to history and to them to have actually created it, right? Because it's or certain things are inexplicable, they're like, well, aliens came and did it. That shit pisses
Oh
me off
yeah.
so much, specifically, like, again, and you know me, I'm always all about my
Mhm.
Latino, uh, mi gente latina, as our girl J-Lo said. But that pisses me off when, like, for example, so much architecture, not just us too, if we look at the history
The
for,
pyramids.
yeah, the pyramid, but like, let's say with the Incan civilization, the Mayans, the Aztecs, everything,
Oh
they're
yeah.
like, oh yeah, aliens came in and did all that, and I'm like, excuse me, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that aliens may have come in and maybe done some stuff, but you're gonna
Mhm.
go and negate how intelligent our native people were? No, fuck out of here, that is
Mhm.
impossible. No, 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 like, yeah, I don't. That's the only part that I get mad. But and then again, I'm like, my mad is from people using dumb logic, or logic that just I don't like it.
Mhm.
Um, Not necessarily that the idea of aliens are bad. Is no, people just,
Word word.
yeah,
The only one that gets me real curious, and I don't know about any of the like Central American pyramids, but like the Egyptian ones, how they have such straight and 90-degree
yeah,
angles and sides that like by all archaeological means should have been impossible for their time. I'm like, either someone was there with a fucking toothpick graving, right? Or aliens. And I'm like, I'm happy with either one, Holmes. I'm not gonna lie to you.
that's fair. That's fair, and I get that. I get that. I just I don't like being, like, again, I
Yeah,
don't think
no,
we're super
all
smart.
all of those like monuments shouldn't just be like, oh, people
Yeah,
ain't no way people did. Because
yeah,
no, the indigenous and the native people very much were smart. It has been proven time and time again. They
yeah.
were smart and they knew what the fuck was up and what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's the same way, like, for example, a movie I love, and when we have a chance, I will love for us to watch the Indiana Jones movies. I love them.
Yes.
I
That's on my
genuinely,
list for sure.
yes, he says, I genuinely love those movies, but I hate
Hmm.
one of them takes place in Peru,
Hmm.
and yeah, and there's certain concepts there that I was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? No, 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 no. It's one of the recent ones. I didn't watch the, because they had all the ones that
Recent.
came. recent in the sense of like I was kind of grown when it came out, and by
Oh,
grown I mean
okay.
older than 10.
They're not still making them though.
I think they made one new one 2 years ago, but I didn't see that one yet.
So fuck? How's that
Indiana
man still
Jones
walking
was,
around?
huh?
How's that man still walking around?
Harrison Ford still kicking it, bro.
Fair
Está
enough.
viejo, está más viejo que polvo, pero yeah. But yeah, no, going back to I don't want to say made up, but like I guess the best would be mystical myths, all that stuff. Going back to
Mhm.
there.
Mhm. Yeah. And so in connection to what you said earlier, how like your family has so many um supernatural beliefs.
Hmm.
And this pisses people off, but like I only laugh at it because like you know what I see the validity into it. People compare like all like myths, right, and stories and legends
Hmm.
to like the religious stories, and like again these
Yeah.
religious people get offended, and I'm like, all right, let's calm down because you don't tell me Noah's Ark. You have proof that
Yeah.
happened, huh?
Yeah.
Like no, there is no proof. The same way there is no proof that there's a Pegasus out there, but I
Yeah.
damn well believe him in one more than the other. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
But I'm
No,
not gonna say they're both true for a fact, and I'm gonna say they're both lies.
facts, facts. No, and I think the crazy part too, and that's why I'm like, I don't know. Religious people be
Mm-hmm.
something else sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
when you read the Bible, right? Like I used to love as a young kid to just go and read the Bible. Bible's chaotic, bro. And there is some crazy ass stories up in that bitch that I'd be like,
There
oh my god,
are.
they are, especially in the Old Testament and shit. And so one of in the whole like even in Noah's Ark that you're bringing that up, in Noah's Ark, and that they're like okay, it was because the world was going crazy, whatever. There was giants, like there was creatures that are considered
In the
myths
Bible?
in the Bible. So I'm
Oh,
sitting
like
here,
Goliath?
huh?
Or like actual giants? Like Goliath or an actual giant? Was Goliath a
Actual
giant?
giants, yeah,
Okay.
actual giants. Like there's different books that not just like because in the
I did
first book
not
of
know
Genesis,
this.
yeah, in the first book of Genesis, because the first book of the Bible, which is kind of just like the creation of the world, understanding how things came to be, quote unquote, right? Adam and Eve's story, how it took God
Yeah.
like 7 days and blah 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 blah, all that shit.
Yeah.
And Noah's Ark is within that, but there's other books that do reference back and even reference back certain things to Noah, and it does mention like it. I think the one common one is giants more than anything, not so
Okay.
much other creatures, but still, I'm sitting here like if the Bible itself is saying right, if let's say they're going off of like, oh, the Bible is true and blah 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 blah, bam, are we forgetting what the Bible said? Or I guess again, people reading selectively.
Yes.
But no, I agree with you. Even as someone that has grown up religious and even had my religious moments, yeah, no, I completely find that valid, and it's definitely a valid take, especially for people that are um, not really like they don't follow a religion. That's fair because again, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, these are things that you're not actually physically seeing, so makes sense for people to consider it as like uh, you know
Yeah. And
mystical.
you know what? You want to hear something funny?
What?
So when I was younger, I had like one of those kids version of the Bible, which
Hmm.
was just like the stories put together, but like
For
kid
kids.
versions, right? It's just
Mhm.
not too graphic and shit. And so I thought the Bible was just a collection of short stories.
Yeah, well, I mean
For
it
like
essentially is though.
no, like well into my grown years. Like it probably actually I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think it was until I met you that I knew that I found out there was actually a lot more to the Bible than just like these set stories that we all like. I really thought it was
Yeah,
just like Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve.
yeah, there's the common ones, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
blanking. I'm blanking. But
No,
like
you,
these stories, like these big ass stories that everyone, I thought that was it. Like I didn't know there was more and shit. And so
yeah.
like the things, and my mom had like this really thick ass Bible with like don't even ask me what it was. I just know it was thick, and I'm thinking I'm like, oh, this is just like
The extended
quotes.
version.
Yeah, extended or like the quotes. Because I would open it and I would try to find like the adult version of the stories, and I would just get like numbers and things, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I think this is
Yeah.
like a rough draft. Like my brain didn't understand this is what like even when
Yeah.
I was like into like high school, I was like, this is so boring. How this you don't read this. This isn't the Bible. This is probably just like famous quotes from like religion from like the past years of this religion.
That's so funny. No, yeah, no, I totally understand that. And the Bible is not, I wouldn't say it's not easy to read, but at least it is sometimes confusing because there's little footnotes and little numbers. And that's
Yeah.
just and I think the reason why it has those numbers is for people to be able to find certain readings quicker, right? So instead of being like
Mm.
page this of this, it's like, for example, you go to book, let's say Genesis, right? Genesis is the first
Okay.
book, the book of Genesis, right? Because there's the Bible is a collection of books, if you may, right? um
Okay.
yeah, so then you go book Genesis, you go to verse this, and so then oh, book Genesis is the first book, so you go and then you look at verse 1 to 10 or whatever the fuck. And so it again, it's more, I think the point is to find stories easierly or more easy.
Interesting.
But it really, like, the Bible really just is, I think you said it perfectly, like your mind really wasn't off it. It's a collection of stories, because again,
Mm.
these are stories
Hmm.
that are being passed on generation. The beginning of it, which is the Torah, which is the Jewish Bible, if you may, or the
Hmm.
Jewish scripture. That's the stories that have been told in Jewish religion through the end of time. And then it continue, I think the first 5 books of the Bible, actually. And then continuing on from that is even more things that again throughout history was retelling or telling stories that have now become some, people's religion. The second part of the book, or the Bible, which is the New Testament, which is when Jesus comes, right?
Yeah.
um Christian or Catholic Bibles, or let's say Catholic, right? Because Christians have sometimes different editions, or stories are told a little differently. um with the Catholic Bible, uh basically the Old Testament, or the first half, which is all like leading up to Jesus coming. Jesus comes, and then now is the story of Jesus, and then like there's books in there. There's like, it's Psalms. Psalms are like songs,
Oh.
verses, proverbs, and all that. And that's just things that are like praising God or praising Jesus or teachings of Jesus. But again, you're not wrong. It really just is stories. It's a collection of stories. It's a collection of books and a collection of stories, and that you're, from the way I always saw it, or the way that I
Yeah.
was taught, is you're supposed to read it, yes, understand what was lived in the past or whatever, but then also try and apply things to modern day. But you apply it, not necessarily you follow it to the T, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it is a collection of stories, but that are supposed to be teaching you something every time. And that's why, like, not really fully going back to political stuff, but I do find it funny, because the whole point of the stories is that you're supposed to learn from the mistakes in the Old Testament, and learn from those. And then with the New Testament, it's constantly God showing you how you're supposed to love each other, and how you're supposed to be more like him, because he loves everyone. So that's why when people are like, oh, we live by the Bible, and I'm like, are you though? Because like, you don't like anyone. So
What I'm hearing is I read the Spark Notes version, and some people don't even have that shit under their belt.
yeah, yeah, legit though. But yeah, so going back to mythical stuff, yeah, no, there's little mythical things. So that assumption of, like, or not assumption, but people comparing it, I don't think it's far
Hmm.
fetched. I think,
Hmm.
yeah.
Right, which is so it's so interesting that people hear the stories like that in the Bible and they're like, oh yeah, no, that for sure happened, and yet in a lot of other religions they hear the stories of creation and things, and then they're like, oh, that's just like a fun telling. We don't hold much water into that bucket, but it's the story, and it's we'll go along with it, like the Greeks and how their version of things were created, like how we have the deserts with like Icarus flying with the sun. No, it wasn't Icarus. He flew too close to the sun. But it was there's like this one story of it's like Apollo has a son and he let him carry the sun, but
Mhm.
across the sky, but like he lost control of the horses, so he got too close to Earth in some parts, and some parts too far away. That's when we have desert, and that's when we have frozen
That's
land.
so cool.
Yeah, right. And it's interesting, and like, but you don't hear the Greeks being like, "Oh, this is for a fact how it happened."
Yeah. Yeah, because again, it's just people trying to make sense of the world that we're living in. I feel like that's
Hmm.
really what a lot of the time the myths, the beliefs, and everything comes from. We're just trying to understand the things that we don't understand.
Yeah, which is fine if this is what it takes for someone's brain to understand it and to tell the story. Go off. That's your explanation. Go off. Don't
Yeah,
end
not
of the
hurt
day, stories are
nobody.
stories. Yeah, there's that saying that whatever you speak has value. Um, let's not get carried away with the value though.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because now that you're mentioning like, Greek mythology and other stuff, in I think one thing that I always love to do or is
Mhm.
interesting to me sometimes is when we travel, depending on
Mhm.
where we're going to, kind of understanding a little bit of like their own myths and all their own beliefs, like town beliefs and stuff. And because
Mm.
every town, every country,
Yes.
everything
Yes.
has their little beliefs. And they're cool because I'm like, it's again, it's coming from people they've been living there for a long time, and so they're trying to, um, they have their stories that have been told again and again and again. And in Iceland, when I went with Manny, they're big on right Nordic myths and beliefs and gods and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, and that see to me again interesting. I'm like, oh, that's interesting to see because again, they're relating it to their ecosystem, to their
Yeah.
yeah. So I find it fascinating, really,
Yeah.
really fascinating.
Um, bro, remember when we went to Scotland and we're like, yo, we all have to go to Loch Ness, go see that
Yeah,
monster.
yeah, and we did.
Because
We
again,
went to Loch.
it just makes everyday life just more fun and exciting to have these myths and these legends told and just be
Yeah,
like and then connect them to like real locations and things. And you know
yeah.
what? Being there, girl, when that
It's
fog
so
came in, I'm like,
magical. Yo,
I
that
see
was
it. I see it. These rock formations are like the water making these waves, even though you're like in the middle of this lake where you really shouldn't have. You know, I can see why someone would be like, "Oh, there's a monster in there for sure."
absolutely, absolutely. And it also like one thing, like you said, it makes all the little stuff like again a little more magical, a little sweeter. Is
Yeah,
one hike that we did not get to go, and I promise one day we'll go. Is the fairy pools one, right?
I
And
was so
again,
bummed that day.
yeah, I know. That was a chaotic day. But
Yeah,
the fact that you're gonna go on a hike and it's a simple
yeah,
hike, but then there's that
yeah.
little belief of, oh, we're coming and seeing the fairy pools. Like, who are we
Huh.
kidding here? Like everyone, it's just funsies, man.
Yeah, people want to be like, "Oh, that's so childish," and I'm like, buddy, if this makes this hike dirt like if it helps me finish this motherfucking hike because it was a hike. If you're gonna go to the fairy pools in Scotland, don't think you're just gonna drive up to there and then it's like no
No,
no no, it's a whole hike. It's
it's
a
like
whole
a
hike.
it's like
I knew this going in. Exactly. We had to actually plan for this hike. But it means thinking at the end of this hike that I'm gonna go touch this magical water to preserve my beauty. Bet your ass. I'll be like, I'm sold.
4K. No, bro. One, but que veas that we do not believe in anything, but at least we're believing in things that again, you have no proof, but it's the funsies of it. One of my favorite, I think
Hmm.
we told her one time, I don't know if it was on the pod or not, but when we were in Denmark and that your mom called you about, oh, you have to pluck a hair and plant it somewhere so you have good health, and then we
Uh-huh.
started
And
running
then we
around,
scrambled.
scrambled, bro. And then even again, Minsu was there chilling in the kitchen, sees us scrambling, and he was like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, I'll do it too." And it was what, maybe 20 minutes max of pure chaos and running around. But when we remember it, it was a good memory. It was like something sweet, and it again, it's stemming from beliefs and all that. So I don't know. I feel like those kind of things are kind of cute.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever found the hair in that pot because it was a small little plant on the window. Like we shoved our hair as best we could in the dirt, but like
I mean, I don't, even if they would have found the hair in the pod, I don't think they would have thought much of it because it's not like we took a whole chunk of hair. It was just a single hair strand each.
True, true.
Because, like, how do we cut
Another
some
one.
hair and thrown it in? And then that would have been a little creepy. That's brujeria shit. Sin querer queriendo.
Yeah, we just wanted some good hair growth. Another one that I think is funny is when we were walking like one of those like hills in, I think it was Scotland, I don't remember, but me and you were walking, and then on the trail, because we were surrounded by a bunch of like greenery, there was just like a little pocket of like a little path, and then like the trees that were on either side of it were like swaying up and down, like waving, and we
Mm-hmm.
both stop and we look, and then you go, "I ain't chick, I ain't falling for that one, you Faye."
Yeah. 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 Because
And I'm
you
like, "Hey,
guys
yo,
always.
word!" I'm like, "Maybe they trying to kidnap us."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, though. The way I be seeing some pictures of like what people think face look at, you could take me any day. I'm just saying.
You know, okay, relax. I ain't trying to have one. I ain't trying to have one steal you, ho.
Oh, but I'm not gonna get got because I'm not gonna fall for the trap. Actually, I would fall for the trap if they put
Yeah,
a
I'm about
nice
to
little
say,
flower for
dang.
me. They put a nice little flower. Yeah, I'd be like, "Ooh, flower!" And just to take a picture
Esta
of it too.
pendeja.
I know.
This girl. This girl. And especially with the Fae, they're like really smart with the words, so you gotta be extra careful. And I know you don't listen to every single word, my love.
I don't. I don't. I don't. What's it called? Kind of going off of a phase. There's other. You have them here as magical creatures.
Yes.
I do believe in all that shit, bro. From Pegasus, mermaids, fays, um,
Hmm.
dwarves. Dwarves.
Yo, huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what you were gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, a big creencia, which is also in the Latino community and different
Hmm.
countries too, is duendes, like the
Yes.
yeah, huh?
They're either called trolls or gnomes. I don't know how to
Yes, 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 yes,
translate
yes,
them.
yes. Not dwarves. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was incorrect.
Not.
Um, I said dwarves earlier. My apologies. I meant yeah, I meant duendes. I meant that. Those are big. No matter the country you go to, big, big booty feet.
Yes. I know that a couple times I visited Argentina, right? And we go through like the artisanal things, right? With like the handcrafted things. There's
Mm-hmm,
always at least one, if not two or more, stalls of someone selling like homemade like little duendes. And they're like
mm-hmm.
either like wood carved or they're like clay and painted, and they're all really nice and they're all like different designs. Like one doesn't look like the other.
That's cute. That's cute.
And
Yeah,
it's
and
it's just so fun. And the saying's like, oh, there's always one there that's out there for you. Like you have to go find yours.
yes, 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 yes. Another thing that was interesting when I went to Peru,
Hmm.
we one of the tours we did, they took us to a town that was known for having a lot of brujas, right? Having a lot of witches. Um
Mm,
and the history is that there was a specific witch that was there, and then they all started gathering, but then they started getting hunted, and then they like stayed, and like I think they killed them, but then a statue, or like the like she's turned into stone, and that's the statue
mm,
that we see, quote unquote. And then there's a bunch of little brujitas, so like they're like, when you go, you have to go in with a lot of respect, and then also
right.
if you go and promise things to them, and then you fulfill it, they will grant you certain things. And there was one that it's a local story, and I found it really funny because again, they have a lot of artisanal stuff, a lot of souvenirs. um
Hmm.
One of the things was this one brujita that she had her face, at least the way they had uh decorated it, was not the cutest, but she had that ass, bro. She had that ass. And the belief is and because I think her story is that she was not pretty, and therefore she wanted to be able to capture the attention of a lover, and so therefore she went and spoke to a bruja and whatever, and then she ended up growing this huge ass, and then she herself was a bruja. So then
Bada
all
bing, bada boom, baby.
yeah, and so then all the young ladies that ever want an ass have to go, like they buy their thingy, you're supposed to rub her butt and you get a big butt, right? And so my
You
mom
need to book that
constantly
ticket
knows,
ASAP.
No, and it was funny because we're there. My mom's like, "Oh, hijita, bebé, que te hagan la historia. You have to rub the booty." And so I was cracking up, and of course, she's trying to sell. Like the lady was trying to sell me the little statue, and
Yeah.
whatever. And I was again, I loved it. I was like, "That's so cute." And they're like, "So do you want that as?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I didn't want the statue, right? But there was
Uh-huh.
like, and you have to do like, there's like a few little things you have to do, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. But again, so funny. I was like, Jesus Christ. And my mom was like, you're not gonna do it? You always want that ass. I'm like, yeah, my mom, but like, there's like a whole bunch of shit. Like, I'll stick to my little feet.
Yeah. It's so interesting how many of like these statues there are like all over the world, like in Europe and South America.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's any in Asia, but like definitely I've been to over there. So
probably. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
probably right. I wouldn't put it past them. And like people, the same people that want to argue like, oh, like magic isn't real and things are gonna go rub this statue. And it's just like it's again part of it is the belief you put in it, man.
yeah,
Belief has power,
yes.
and who knows if
And how you manifest it too.
rubbing that axe is gonna make yours double in size. But like,
Hey,
okay, go
listen,
ahead to
I
try and
listened to
have
the
some fun.
story, and the booty has grown a little. And I
There
haven't
you
hit the
go.
gym in a hot minute. From when I've come back to from Peru, I have not gone to the gym the way I should be going.
Hmm.
But she feeling now in the places she should be feeling now. So now,
Hey
is
yo.
it la brujita? Is it genetics? Is it my own body trying to be like, bitch, you have not made a child. Let's make it attractive enough to make a child. I don't know. Pero I like to believe la brujita
You
from
think
Peru.
it accumulates? Like you go if you go rub it one time, it'll go slightly, and if you go back, it just multiplies.
I don't know. When I go, I want to go back to Peru, and y'all coming with me. We'll go and we'll find out.
Bet, bet. Mom be like, oh, why Peru? I'll be like, so I can get some ass.
Hey yo, hey yo, de las dos formas. What's it called?
I was thinking of the other one.
Oh my god,
I ain't
that's
gonna say
funny.
no.
Yeah, no, and another like you now that you brought up Asia, it's interesting because they're huge, or one of their huge mystical creatures that people know all the time is the dragons, right? And the fact of how much dragons carry weight in their beliefs. Um
Yes.
and again, in my head, I'm like, the same way people want to, or not want to, but they believe in dinosaurs. You're gonna sit
Hmm.
here and tell me we ain't gonna believe that dragons probably existed as well. Like, I don't know, it
I,
seems
with my
crazy.
whole chest, will look someone in the eye and be like, no, but they were real. I'm not
Yeah,
saying are. I don't know if they are, right? I highly doubt they are, right? Because, like,
currently.
where would you be, dragons, right? I don't know. But they definitely were. Okay, them beautiful ass creatures, they
You
were
know,
flying free way, way, way ago.
I would say one theory that I recently read,
Hmm.
and it does tie back a little onto Noah's Ark, and I loved it again, right? I like seeing different beliefs tie into each other. Like I find it very interesting. Um
Hmm.
so right, in Noah's Ark, the story is that whatever, shit's going to shit, and so God trying to clean the world and make it a better place. He decides, listen, know what, you're cool. Grab an animal, whatever animals you can, put them in an ark, and then I'm gonna flood the world. And with
Hmm.
that, the whole rest of the world died,
And the
or
dragons
supposedly
didn't
died.
fit.
But listen, no. Here's and this is where I like the story, right? They were like, what if a lot of these animals, in order to survive, adapted?
Shrunk?
No, adapted, because
Okay.
when we think of the ocean, right? Only, I believe, it's a very small percentage of the ocean is discovered. And
Yes.
so the rest, people don't know, hold on, how much of the, there you go. We've
It's
only
like less
really
than
explored
20.
about 5%
Oh, shit.
of
Not even
of the
double
ocean,
digits.
okay? And then mapped out is only really 20 to 25%. Then the rest
Okay.
is completely unmapped, unobserved, unexplored. We have no idea exactly what's under there, right? You're gonna sit here and tell me, with as massive as our world is, and as undiscovered as is the ocean, right? That maybe when this flood happened, the theory is, what if these creatures adapted themselves and they are living in the water, deep, deep in those crevices that we don't know what's going on. And in my head, I'm like, that makes sense. The same way that
Mhm.
animals now have adapted and evolutionized and have become some. There's amphibians, there's water,
Mhm.
like water mammals, all that shit. You're gonna sit here and tell
Mermaids.
me exactly. You're gonna sit here and tell me that none of this exists? Hell yeah, it's deep in the ocean. Now, when I said that, or when I not I said that, but when I saw that video and I was like, oh, that's so fascinating. I I
Yeah.
love I love the ocean in the sense of like I love going to the beach. I love all that. But I have a
Yeah.
great fear slash respect for the ocean because I'm like,
Yes.
this is so
She is a beautiful monster that I
yes.
leave the fuck alone.
Yes, absolutely. That's why like I don't really like the idea of cruises at all.
You
Uh
couldn't. Mm-mm.
yeah.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. No, no, no me gusta. No me gusta. And it's because I'm like, there's no way that all we got is a bunch of little sharks, a bunch of little fishies. Hell no, bitch. There's like all those giants, everything. It's all down there.
Mhm.
It's all down there.
Bro, the way, though, you know what really spooks me is the way that it's been proven that things were just bigger back then, right? Like the megalodon,
Huge. Yeah.
things were just humongous back in the day. And so you're telling me these lizards we got now, not one of them was big enough to be a dragon? No, that was a thing. That was a thing. They had wings. Wings are not hard to imagine, people. Let's be real.
No. No, exactly. That's why I'm like, all this shit is there. It's the same way,
Yeah.
like kind of going back, and then also tying to another foot that you have here, with
Mhm.
urban legends and stuff. That's why
Mhm.
to me the idea of it, I am scared of it. I'm more scared of it than the ocean, which I know sounds crazy, but
Mhm.
with the whole Appalachia mountains and ranges and how there's a lot of uh myths and beliefs and creatures and
Mhm.
different entities and all that. I believe in all of it, right? I fully believe, but to the point that I fear it, right? Fear it so much
Okay.
so that I would prefer, like, when we plan things and it's like, okay, let's go to the pumpkin house. I'm like, ew. Like, okay, yeah, fine, let's go, but like, or even like if I'm going hiking, let's pick appropriate hours. Let's not be crazy out here, right?
Well, you
Because
should never be hiking in the dark. You don't know what's out there.
no, exactly. But not well, no, because some people like sunset hikes where it's again only maybe the last half hour of your thing is in the dark, and that has happened. And every day that I think of back to that day, I'm like, God bless, nothing happened to us. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was because it was my aunt, my cousin, and I that we went hiking, but we got there at 4. Granted, it was the summer, but then by the time we were back, I think the good last 40 minutes was pitch dark.
Nah.
Pitch dark.
Y'all have flashlights?
No, because again, we didn't
Reckless.
plan for this. Yeah, it was my aunt.
That's
And
too reckless. Hell
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Hikes are a morning activity where you know you're guaranteed sunlight.
Yes. But yeah, again, all that stuff, you're gonna sit here and tell me that it's not true. And again, it's so fascinating because I'm like, that means because again, a lot of weird paranormal, weird stuff happens. And there's no like we ourselves lived something creepy when we were in the Poconos, right? And there's so
Hmm.
many Reddit accounts, so many
The
stories, so many
nothing.
creepy pastas of like them talking about experiences, and again they're explaining it by like there's no way that a whole community of so many different people, because it's not just one town, it's not just one city, it's
Hmm.
a whole range of people that have similar stories, similar beliefs, and you're gonna sit here and be like, no, you guys are crazy. No, you're the crazy one if you think that's normal. Like, no, no. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. But like you just reminded me though of like the Bigfoot legend.
Mm,
I'm not again, I am not gonna say he's not it's not they're not real, right?
yeah.
I'm not. I am no one to yuck someone's yum. But like
Someone yumming the Bigfoot.
I'm not like that, but like they want to believe in it, right? And
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's false because I don't know. Unless
Yeah.
I know something without a doubt, 100%, every fiber of my being is telling me that I know I'm right. I'm not gonna tell you. Well, I will tell you someone they're wrong, but you know what I mean.
In that, yeah. In this context,
But
at least.
like, but like, you think if there was a Bigfoot out in the mountains, we wouldn't have discovered it? Like of all the legends we could have, we have such a boring one. of just some big old hairy dude looking thing. Because the Bigfoot's like related to people, right? Like it's just like a giant person, all hairy,
Yeah, he's like a yeah, he's like human like, but I don't think
right?
he's actually
Okay,
human. Yeah.
that's what we have out in the forest to the point where like people have just dressed up as one. It's so lame, man. America's so boring.
Man is like, give me the real scary shit, not no lame ass Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Maybe Bigfoot,
Like
big
even the Yeti is more interesting because that's like up in the snow and shit, and like you can't like a snow monster. That's kind of cool, right? Bigfoot, bro. His name isn't even cool. It's Bigfoot. What the fuck is that?
baby, I'm your Bigfoot. With this big old patas, I was like,
I got one at home. See?
yeah, like hello. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, I
Bro.
see what you're saying. Out of all the ones that there is, yeah, that one would be a
And
little.
it's not even magical. It's just a hairy monster. Okay, cool. What the fuck? It's like a bear.
Legit though. It's watch it be just like some really tall guy that just hadn't shaved for a long time, and then he got big old feet, right? Because people tall as fuck, and so he had a big old
Word,
foot. And then
word.
and then people started the locals started being like Bigfoot, Bigfoot. He's like, you know what? I'm just
He
yeah,
was so done. He went up into that forest and just never returned.
yeah. He was like,
And you old Bigfoot lives there now, haunting
yeah.
them.
Y'all shamed a man with a Bigfoot so much so that he
Yeah.
was like, fine, I'll leave. But yeah, no. I was gonna say, do you growing up did you have like because we're from the state that we are we live
Yeah.
in the state that we do
I'm pretty
do
sure we've
you
been in our state before, babe.
yeah I know but I was gonna say are there
Especially
any
with all the Appalachian talk.
huh
Especially with all that Appalachian talk.
no that range is quite big though that's not that that's not
Fair.
strict to us. That's like a whole. That's what I'm saying. That's like a whole range. That's why to
Right.
me
You're
it's
right.
fascinating. But no, I was gonna say, is there any beliefs and stuff, local beliefs that you've had or you've heard, and that you're like, interesting.
I know Noel's told us about a couple of them, like this one hill that like you don't ever roll back or you can't go like I forget what its situation is, but something like that. And I know Sandra has told me a couple of them. Um, and I'll be like, oh wow, that's spooky. I'm not gonna go there. You know,
Yeah, 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 yeah. No,
I'm
I
gonna avoid this haunted area because I'm not trying to be haunted.
yeah, yeah. No, see, the ones that I hear most are haunting ones, right? Like there's a road by us and like shit like that. I think Noelita and I told you about.
Mhm.
Um, But besides that, like I think there's one that is like I think either you've heard the right or no?
No, but I was trying not to say that one, so I wouldn't say the state name, bro.
Oh, but you said yourself we mentioned it. I'll bleep it. I'll bleep it. I'll
I'm
bleep
just
it.
leave it the fuck in. We have said it before.
Mobby. Mobby.
I'm trying to follow your own lead.
Yeah. Well, no, I knew we were gonna say something. Shut up. And so shut up, B.
Yes, state name devil.
Yeah. Whatever. We'll see if I remember to remove that. But no, I probably will. But I was gonna say, have you heard that one or no?
I've heard of the name. I forget the actual story.
Yeah, me too. I only know because that's why sports. I don't know what sport team, but we have a sport team, that is named after homeboy. Um, hockey. There you go. Um, This, yeah, that's the only reason why I know, and it's actually no, I'm gonna shut up at that point. But it's so I'll give you a little synopsis that is apparently a 250-year-old American folklore. That's another word of a winged
Hmm.
creature, horse-like head, hooves, and forked tail. Um, it's known as a cryptid, legendary, that inhabitates our great state, and that apparently, uh, a poor lady was poor and overwhelmed when she was pregnant with her 13th child, and
Oh,
upon birth, the child transformed into this monster
the fuck? Because the lady was tired.
from
Ew, this
giving birth
shit
to her 13
ugly.
kids. Shit, I'd be tired of 13 kids too.
No, what I'm talking about, like that's all it took to create a giant of this whole ass creature.
Yeah,
This shit ugly though. Like, looks like a motherfucking rat with wings.
yeah. Going, this kind of confirms though your thing about like we have the lame ones because the Blackmore is really
Yeah. And
thing.
it's such a lame story. Like, if there really was a woman that was trying after 13 births, I get it, girly. But that's it. No, no history on the woman. No, like, magical background. No, like, dark history. She just got tired after 13 kids because it was the 13th kid. And, 13 can be a supernatural number. That's it.
I remember reading somewhere that 13 is actually like it's not, or I think the reason why they condemned or make it seem like an evil number, there was something feminine tied to it. Um Keep talking while I Google.
I'm trying to see, like, and the fact that, yo, it's not even that terrifying and it's that stupid that they just named their mascot after it. And it's not even basketball, it's fucking hockey. Who cares about hockey? Well, lately people care about hockey because of heated rivalry and because of the lame ass males Olympic team.
Mm.
But like,
Ah,
the
apparently 13 is something that in general has come across a bunch of different um religious origins, mythology specifically. But see. For example, or at least again, the two examples that they're giving is that oh, I didn't know. No, he wasn't. Is that true? I didn't know. They're saying, like, for example, in Christianity, there was 13 people at the Last Supper, and Judas, which included Judas, who betrayed Jesus.
Right.
Which that's
Is it me,
another day.
Jesus?
Huh? Is it me, Jesus?
Is it
Yeah.
me, Jesus?
And then the other one is with Norse mythology, being that the trickster god Loki is actually the 13th guest. Wait, what? That sounds like Jesus, the 13th guest at the banquet. I've also seen that. Have you seen that? I love
Sounds like
those
Judas.
TikToks. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm sorry, I was laughing at what you said. What did you just say?
That have you seen those TikToks that compare I believe either Nordic or another mythology compares it a lot to how similar it is to the Bible story?
No,
And
but I'm not surprised.
yeah, later today when I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna send it to you. It's so fascinating because the way they paint it is that there is there's a mythology where there are certain gods, and then one god decided to go and make himself the main god, and that he painted like this whole story, and he's supposed to be like actually not good and evil. And the that story that has been again told for years and years and
Wait,
years.
I sent you a similar TikTok about that the other day of how Christianity was actually at one point panthology. What's it called? A religion with multiple gods. Something with a
Yes,
P.
yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's similar, but the one that I had seen, which was years ago, went a little more in depth as to how similar it is to
Mhm.
Christianity and everything.
Mhm.
So then, and again, now that I'm reading all the 13 stuff in Jesus is the Last Supper with 13 guests, and then in this one is the 13 guests at a banquet. I'm like, wait a minute. And the death of the
Yeah.
god Balder, which again, the death of a god Balder, Jesus was a death. Similarities. Crazy. But anyway, apparently no, there's a bunch of different times throughout history that apparently 13. But no, I remember reading somewhere that there's something feminine tied to it, and that's to why that way they made it. I don't remember though. I don't remember well enough to fully quote it.
We'll
So
circle this back later. But yeah, like see, like we are saying, all at the end of the day, these are just stories like people try to use to explain things or just to pass on some kind of belief in something, which is
yeah,
great to to want to believe in and to hold it to some standard. But you're also just because you believe in one story or a version of a story does not mean you can go and tell someone else that your version is wrong, Holmes.
Yeah,
And no one's gonna fucking tell me that a dragon isn't real. I will sit on this. I will die on this hill. Same thing
that's
with mermaids. Like you said, that ocean, ain't no one knows what the fuck is up with that ocean.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, no, I like it, and I like knowing that there's all these little beliefs and all these thingies that are, I don't know, making it a little more fun, I
Yeah,
guess.
make life interesting, bro. It's too boring if you wanna take out the magic in it, Holmes.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm glad we're on the same consensus. One book. Oh man, I would love. I think also that played a huge part into it. I remember so back in the day, when I was a kid, and my mom had the storefront to her business.
Mhm.
Um, it was in the way that the store was set up, we had like a back room slash closet, and there was like a lot of books and all that. And my dad has always been a heavy believer in things like that. And so he had a book that, oh, I can vividly remember it now. Oh my goodness, what that this conversation really triggered that because I haven't thought of that in a long time. And he had two books, and it was a collection of different myths and different urban, not urban legends, but like mythological creatures, and explaining
Okay.
them. It was a bit of it did explain the history, but there was a lot of also illustrations in it. But it was definitely not a kid's book. It was I don't know what it was.
But
um
you're reading it anyways.
yeah, well, like there was nothing cochino about it. I mean, like
Oh, okay.
there's definitely, I think, if I'm remembering, because I was a kid. There was certain imagery that was definitely like it had someone nude or whatever, but it was never like it was nothing sexual like that. But
Okay, okay.
in the sense that I don't think it was like a teen book, right? I do feel like it was a. I'll see if my dad remembers it, but there was so many stories and so many different mystical creatures and understanding it and all that. And I used to love to just go because the way that my mom had the storefront set up, there was one part of it that was like my play area. um and so I would go, and I wouldn't want to go and take out the books. There was nothing wrong with me reading it, like my parents didn't care, but there
Mhm.
was something so magical to me to go into that closet, which was full of, or like that room, because it was like a back room, filled with like different cloths and rollos de plástico and all that. And I would just sit in one of the little corners and just read the book. And my parents knew that I was just in my little mythical area. And I
I
used,
love that.
yeah, and again, some parts I could read because I knew how to read. Other parts were, I just didn't comprehend it enough. But I would love
Mhm.
to just look and look and look through the picture. I can safely assume that those books, when we moved the storefront, we ended up having to close shop there, and then just my parents work from home.
Mhm.
Uh, that probably got rid of. But those were my dad's books, and I used to love looking at them because they were just so interesting to me, and like again, magical. Like it was just like, oh, this is so cool. And it was very colorful. I think that also did it for me because exactly my colors.
Yeah. Yeah, people need to keep the wonder in their life, I think.
Yes, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. This was a fun topic, BB.
It was.
It was nice and
Nice little break from the serious talk we've been doing. I've
yeah,
been seeing
yeah,
all around this.
yeah, absolutely. Which again, very much needed those little escapes. Which I think that's why I think also too. You remember when we first you first introduced to me, which is honestly what ended up getting me into Harry Potter, was Mystical Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yes.
That is what got me into it. I was like, oh wow, like I'm like, I like this. This is great. This is awesome. And because even though growing up and people loving what's it called? um Loving Harry Potter, I was too scared of it to see
Hmm.
the magic behind it. But as an adult, after seeing Fantastic Beasts and then watching the movies, which I've watched the majority, I haven't finished them yet, but I've watched the majority. I like to watch them on long flights. But watching them
Yeah, they're perfect for that.
yeah, watching them definitely, like I'm like, ooh, I get it. I get it, bro.
Yeah. Especially when you're a kid and like you have school and everything's just like routine and boring. Um, It's fun, especially like reading the Harry Potter stuff, and especially like well into, because they were running for a while, both the books and then also with the finishing of all the movies. They were
Yeah.
still like running well into um my young adult life. And
Hmm.
so it was so nice to have that as like escapism, to
Yeah.
just go believe in something fun and magical, even though, and yet the story still was like so relatable.
Yeah.
Um, to an extent, obviously, we're not all facing a Voldemort,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Harry still also had normal problems, like his family, with his friends, with
Of
his school.
course. Yeah, yeah. No, it's this, and I think it's the same way why a lot of people like to read. Or like for example, I've reason why I loved Twilight and all that. There's the magical aspect that kind of makes it
Yeah.
more special, you know?
Yeah. That's why to this day, I'll read fiction, but ain't nothing got me hooked like a fantasy book. I love
Yeah.
fantasy. Like, I'm not trying to read about no one's boring lawyer life right now. I don't care. I do not care if he's a rich guy and you're the poor waitress. Whatever. That's boring. Give me like the magical king of the fairyland, and give me like this girl that didn't know she had like it's. Let me believe, right? Let me turn on my imagination.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. There's those kind of books are good. They're
Yes.
they're nice. Especially the ones, again, as any story, even if it'll have the mystical aspect to it, obviously they're gonna still have relatable points because that's the whole point of why they're making it.
Of course.
Those are even better because it's like, oh, I'm relating to you and you're magical. Like it's just,
Yeah, no,
you
they're
know,
great.
I like it. I like it. Thank you, baby. I loved it. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Nah.
Nah, yeah, I think we got it pretty well across. I was gonna say, as to how Noel usually does, if you have any mystical beliefs, or anything that you specifically believe in or don't believe in, please comment below. And you know where to find us. We release episodes every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spotify, on YouTube, on iHeartRadio, on any streaming platform that you think we're on there. We probably are. You can also find us on TikTok and on Instagram at 1.2 brain cells underscore official. Um, and drop a comment, drop a like, message us, or you can message us personally if you want to be a guest. And as long as myself, Vanna, and Noel agree, then you are more than welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of little back and forth between Vane and I. As promised, Noel will most likely be back at one point, or at least guest star here and there. If you have any ideas for things you want us to talk about, always send us a message. And again, as long as it's things that we can talk about or at least find interest in, then we will happily do so. With that said, toodaloo,
To the least,
hugs and kisses.
not for me.
Bye. And as Noel would say, peace out, brain cells. Bye.